Hey YouTube, what is going on? My name is Samim Supreme, and today we're gonna compare the Bruen against the Grau in Warzone. This is not one of those videos where I'm just gonna play a game and then get a kill and tell you that the gun is OP. Absolutely not. We're actually gonna sit down and break down the DPS, total time to kill, you know, the reload, aim down, sight speed, and all that good stuff. Before we continue, I want to tell you that both of these weapons are absolutely amazing and they are top tier. So if you prefer one or the other, that's no big deal at all. And a lot of my kind of like research has been based around numerical values, but I will try my best to kind of break it down and kind of like translate it into the actual gameplay. Alright, so let's get to it. Alright, so this Grau build right here is probably one of the best around for Warzone, particularly as it is best optimized for range, aim down sight speed, as well as recoil control. First, let's talk about the essentials. Monolithic suppressor hides your position on the minimap when you shoot, as well as extends your effective damage range by 5 to 10%. Commando foregrip as your underbarrel helps control your side-to-side recoil without having to sacrifice your aim down sight speed. 60 round mags are definitely considered as part of the essentials for any primary weapon in Warzone, especially if you're doing trios or quads. Then we got the Archangel barrel that is most definitely better than the Nexus one, as it has higher effective damage range, accuracy, and recoil control at the expense of mobility, which shouldn't really be a major factor considering that most of your traveling around the map should be done with a vehicle or your lighter secondary weapon. And last but not least, we have the tac laser. Now this one is definitely optional. You could always swap it out for an optic or anything else you prefer, but I personally think this attachment complements this build perfectly. Next we have the Bruen build that is absolutely disgusting right now. Just like on the Grau build, we got the monolithic suppressor, tac laser, and the XRK Summit 26-inch barrel that is very similar in stats as the Archangel barrel that we talked about earlier. Now the unique attachments for this would be the Solo Zero Mini Reflex Optic that really does help out when you have to laser your enemies across the map, as well as provide a more aesthetic look to aiming down sight. At last, we have this 60 round mag that really sort of makes the Bruen a direct competitor to the Grau. This attachment right here is the only reason why I choose the Bruen over PKM. We get increased aim down sight speed, mobility, and pretty good reload speed for an LMG. Alright, so now that we have both of our builds, let's take a look at the damage profile. At first glance, by taking a look at the attribute comparison, we'll notice that the Bruen is slightly better all across the board. What's very interesting though is the mobility aspect. It's nearly identical. Before doing this video, I actually thought I was moving slower with my Bruen because it's an LMG, but in fact, I wasn't at all. Bruen is slightly faster when it comes to the fire rate with 750 revs per minute, whereas the Grau is sitting at 730. And since the damage attribute is also higher on the Bruen, DPS technically should be in favor of the Bruen as well. Let's take a look at the total time to kill. This chart may look a little complicated, but I assure you it's not. I calculated these values myself, so allow me to break it down. Both of these weapons have 3 effective ranges of damage, and with every consecutive one the damage drops off. The values of those ranges will be explained later in this video. So for example, if you're using the Bruen at its closest range, you get 46 damage per bullet in the head, 34 in the chest, and 31 in the stomach or limb. Respectively, you need 6, 8, or 9 bullets to kill. And since we know the rate of fire and the damage, we can calculate the total time to kill. At close range, the difference is fairly negligible, but when it comes to mid and far ranges, the Grau is actually at a significant disadvantage with as big of a gap as 44% in total time to kill. That means a person with the Bruen at mid range can take out a person with the Grau at 2/3 of the time it would take the Grau person to take out the Bruen person, presuming they start shooting each other at the same time and in the same body part. Nevertheless, we all know it's not just about the damage when it comes to picking the perfect primary weapon, so let's take a look at the next test. I put both of these weapons side by side to see which one completes the aim down sight animation faster, and my indicators were the gun movement at the beginning of the animation and the appearance of the green laser at the end. What I found is that the Grau actually completes this challenge in 0.3 seconds, which is 33% faster than the Bruen, which is sitting at 0.45 seconds. Now, this difference of 0.15 seconds is equivalent to 2 bullets from the Grau being shot first before the Bruen even has a chance to fire back, presuming of course both guns start shooting at the end of the aim down sight animation. Next, we got the recoil test. Since the latest Grau nerf, the kick on the recoil has almost doubled in the upwards direction, but the general pattern itself remained unchanged. We still have the slight left upward direction followed by a slight right upward direction, with the turning point being at around the 12th bullet. The Bruen recoil pattern, however, is a little more densely put together, which means that you would need less of a correction to have it stay on the target, and it almost has the opposite direction of a bullet spray compared to the Grau. It seems to kick off mostly upwards at first, but then hit that 30 angle to the left direction. I may sound a little biased when I say this, but I still feel like the Grau is a little more predictable and potentially easier to control than the Bruen. Though this is just my opinion and not factual at all. Alright, so we do have two different reload animations. The first is the most common one, where you still have at least one bullet left and then you decide to reload, and it looks like this. The difference in reload speeds on both of these weapons is 0.16 seconds, which once again gives the Grau a 2 bullet advantage if you were to start reloading your guns and shooting right away. The second reload animation is the one where your clip is emptied out completely. That one takes a little longer, and the difference is significantly bigger, with the Grau sitting at 2.72 seconds and the Bruen at 3.53 seconds. That 0.81 second difference is actually close to 10 bullets coming out of the Grau into your face if you were using the Bruen. And as we've learned in the damage profile, 10 bullets from the Grau is enough to take down the enemy at close and mid ranges. Hey guys, just want to take a quick second and ask that you hit that like button if you're enjoying this video, and comment down below what two other weapons you would want to see a detailed analysis on. The engagement on this video helps me reach bigger audiences so I could put more quality content like this out there for you guys. Alright, let's get back to the final challenge. After the last patch on June 29 of 2020, the Grau took a huge hit in terms of base range nerf as well as the Archangel and the Nexus barrel range nerfs. After doing some effective damage range testing for both of these weapons with my buddy Randizes, who by the way just released a theory on how to get rid of the hackers in Warzone, you guys should go check him out, we have discovered that the new close range for the Grau is 30 meters and the mid range is from 30 to 48. Whereas the Bruen is sitting at 41 meters for close range damage and 41 to 56 meters for mid range. Obviously these stats don't really mean much without the attachments, so here are the ranges for the loadouts showcased at the beginning of this video. The Grau is getting a 35% range boost from the Archangel barrel as well as another 10% from the suppressor, giving us a total boost of 45%, bringing up the close range to 43.5 meters and the mid range capped off at 70. Meanwhile, the Bruen is getting 25% range boost from the XRK Summit 26-inch barrel as well as additional 10% from the suppressor, giving us a total of 35% boost for range of effective damage. All of that brings up our close range cap to 55 meters and mid range up to 75.5. In conclusion, prior to the nerf, the Grau would definitely come out on top. However, it looks like we have the new range king in town with significantly higher DPS and a much lower total time to kill. Even though the Bruen might be the better choice right now in Warzone, the Grau is still a top tier weapon and it does have a better reload and aim down sight speeds for anyone who is just not ready to give it up. I personally love the Bruen because of how broken it is, and I know it will most definitely get patched in due time, but until then I'm gonna use it to get as many dubs as I can. If you haven't unlocked the Bruen yet, I highly recommend you do, and if you were to pair with anything, I think the MP5 would be a great option. If you have any questions about anything at all, come join me on Twitch or Facebook Gaming, where I stream on Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.